Evolution of Toothless. Next, Toothless makes a cameo appearance in the 2010 animated short, Legend of the Bone Napper Dragon, in the beginning being seen flying into the scene with Hiccup on his back, while Gobber is claiming to all the Vikings that Bone Napper Dragon hunted him down again. Night Fury, best known as Toothless, makes his first appearance in the 2010 animated movie, How to Train Your Dragon, as one of the two main protagonists, with voice effects provided by Randy Tom. At the beginning of the movie, he's seen as the most dangerous and mysterious creature by all the Vikings, who only want to kill dragons in defense, as well as very inconspicuous due to his speed and camouflage in the night. After Hiccup, the son of the village chief, desiring recognition and respect by the people, tries to kill him by shooting him, tearing off half his tail fin. He regrets his actions, and in the course of the movie, he helps him recover and becomes his best friend, as well as names him Toothless, due to his retractable teeth. As a result of their friendship, and especially Toothless saving Hiccup's life, all the Vikings came to understand the true nature of dragons and start a new era of peaceful human-dragon cohabitation. In addition to his speed, he possesses fire breath, which he uses not only for attack purposes but also to heat up the place he intends to sleep at. He has also shown himself to be very intelligent, being able to understand everything Hiccup said and drawing pictures with a stick, playful, fiercely loyal, and brave by being always by Hiccup's side, even in the most dangerous moments. Next, Toothless makes several appearances in the 2011 animated short, Book of Dragons, while Hiccup, Astrid, and Fishlegs are writing notes about different types and classes of dragons in the Dragon Manual in the Great Hall, including the Strike class, which Toothless represents, featuring his many abilities. Toothless plays a major role in the next 2011 animated short, Gift of the Night Fury, where right before Berk's traditional winter holiday of Snoggletog, all the dragons of Berk unexpectedly depart, leaving everyone very sad, except for Toothless, who cannot fly by himself, so, out of compassion, Hiccup constructs him a new automatic prosthesis which allows him to fly independently, after which he flies off too. At the end, after all the dragons migrated back with their newly hatched babies, Toothless returns as well, but with Hiccup's lost helmet, which he had dropped into the sea earlier, and the two enjoy a heartfelt reunion. The next day, Toothless discards his new tail and begs Hiccup to put the old tail fin on him and fly with him by controlling his fin manually, as opposed to passively riding him, reflecting their close relationship. Toothless reappears in the first animated TV show of the franchise, Dragons, Riders of Berk, again as one of the leading characters, set a year after the events of the first movie, together with Hiccup as they try to keep balance within the new cohabitation of dragons and Vikings, as well as keep up with Berk's newest installment, a Dragon Training Academy. As shown in the episode, How to Start a Dragon Academy, while the dragons on Berk run rampant and out of control, Toothless and Hiccup try to maintain the peace in the village by finding a way to use the dragon's abilities to aid the Vikings with fishing and farming. And also, in the episode What Flies Beneath, was the only occasion where Toothless has defied Hiccup. After a whispering death, that Toothless had fought in the past, comes to Berk, Toothless tries to fight him on his own, even ordering the other dragons to stay away from him during the fight. But he eventually accepts Hiccup's help when Hiccup deliberately jumps off a cliff to make him choose between him and his old enemy, after which, with Hiccup's assistance, Toothless successfully defeats the Whispering Death. In the 2012 live-action play, How to Train Your Dragon Live Spectacular, Toothless appears in the main role, replaying events of the original movie. Here, he is played by a real life-sized mechanical dragon, who looks and moves like a real creature, including his ability to fly, as shown when he flew on stage with Hiccup on his back. Toothless comes next in the second animated TV show, Dragons, Defenders of Berk, as one of the main characters. He, Hiccup, and their fellow dragon riders continue their training and mastering their dragon training skills, as well as put them to the test as they unite against their old and new enemies, including a fearsome new dragon, Screaming Death, that threatens Berk's very existence. As depicted in the episode Appetite for Destruction, when wild dragons start overwhelming Berk, Hiccup and Toothless discover islands are disappearing throughout the archipelago, and after their investigation of the cause, they encounter the Screaming Death. Then Toothless and Hiccup try to hold out and hold it off long enough for Fishlegs and Astrid to gather as many wild dragons as they could to fight off the Screaming Death. In the 2014 animated short, Dawn of the Dragon Racers, which takes place 3 years before the events of the sequel, in between the events of Defenders of Berk and Race to the Edge, a hunt for a lost sheep turns into a competition between Hiccup, who's flying Toothless, and his friends for the first title of Dragon Racing Champion of Berk. In the 2014 second animated movie, How to Train Your Dragon 2, Toothless and Hiccup discover an ice cave that is home to hundreds of new wild dragons and encounter Valka, Hiccup's long-lost mother, who helps Toothless unlock his hidden spines, which aid him in making tight turns. And the mysterious dragon rider Drago Bloodfist, a madman who wants to conquer the world. This movie reveals a huge amount about dragon hierarchy, the individual species, and how they interact with one another. Also, it was revealed that the alpha dragon has ultimate control over dragons below him in the pack. So, near the climax of the movie, Toothless becomes subservient to his alpha, Drago Bloodfist's Bewilderbeast, and tries to kill Hiccup. However, Stoic saves his son but takes the dragon's plasma blast and dies, which causes a heartbreaking rift between the best friends. However, realizing his action, Toothless is devastated for what he has done, even though he was being controlled, and then redeems himself for this incident by challenging and defeating the Bewilderbeast for Berk near the end, avenging Stoic. After this event, Toothless becomes the new alpha, and while in this mode he has blue markings on his back, fins, spines, and forehead, glowing because of the fire. In the animated TV show, Dragons, Race to the Edge, which bridges the time gap between Dragons, Defenders of Berk, and How to Train Your Dragon 2, Toothless wore battle armor in order to avoid the dragon root-lanced arrows. A plant that is a very potent behavior modifier for most dragon species. His first set of armor was made of Screaming Death scales that Hiccup and Snoutlout got when they traveled to Screaming Death Island to get them because they're the strongest scales of any dragon. The only downside of the original dragon armor was that it was heavy, but Toothless was still pretty fast while wearing it. They later switched to a set made of Gronkle iron because it was lighter in addition to being very durable. In the TV show, Toothless saves Hiccup's life on numerous occasions, often when meeting a new hostile dragon. Also, he acts as Hiccup's moral support and even helps him calm down whenever he is acting brash or reckless, such as during the episode All Bark, No Bite. When Hiccup and Stoic have an argument over the fact that Johann betrayed them, leading to Toothless and Stoic's dragon Skullcrusher to force the two of them to apologize to one another. During the final episode, Toothless defeats Krogan, the leader of the Dragon Flyers, when he steals the Bewilderbeast egg, putting an end to the war with the Dragon Hunters and stopping Krogan from delivering said egg to Drago Bloodfist. In the 2019 animated short movie, How to Train Your Dragon, Homecoming, set before the epilogue of the third movie, many years after the dragons left the Vikings, the residents of New Berk are preparing for the annual Snoggletog festivities. Meanwhile, on the Hidden World Island, Toothless is missing his friend and even draws a picture of Hiccup and New Berk in the sand. He then, through the use of sand drawings, tells the Light Fury and their three Nightlight children, Dart, Pouncer, and Roofrunner, about his best friend Hiccup, inspiring his children to make a secret flight to New Berk to see for themselves. However, when they discover that their children have disappeared, they find them in New Berk, where Toothless is the first to scold them. Although Toothless and Hiccup do not meet in person in this place, Hiccup sees him, Light Fury, and Nightlight children fly away from New Berk. This experience reminds Hiccup that their loved ones are always there for them as long as they hold them in their hearts. So he decides to visit Toothless and the dragons in the Hidden World Island with his family. By the beginning of the third animated movie of 2019, How to Train Your Dragon, The Hidden World, Toothless is the Dragon King of the Dragons of Berk and proceeds to rescue dragons along with Hiccup and his friends, causing the island to become heavily overpopulated with dragons. After some time, Toothless discovers a white female fury, better known as the Light Fury, in the forests around Berk, and throughout the movie, thanks to her, he reveals his other abilities and learns how to use them, for example, to hide his entire body by flying into a plasma blast. But later it is revealed that the infamous dragon hunter Grimmel the Grizzly, who hunted and killed to near extinction the Night Furies, leaving Toothless as the last of his kind, used her as bait so that he would capture Toothless and use him as an alpha. So Toothless and Hiccup unite the residents and dragons of Berk to leave and go in search of the Hidden World, a safe haven for dragons. Eventually, after it becomes clear that the dragons belong in the Hidden World, Toothless and Hiccup say goodbye to one another, and as the alpha dragon, Toothless leads all of them back to the Hidden World, thus keeping them safe from future hunters forever. In the end of the movie, 9 years after the dragons left New Berk, it is shown that Toothless and the Light Fury became mates and had 3 offspring that the Vikings named Nightlights. In the 2025 first live-action remake of the 2010 animated movie of the same name, Toothless looks almost exactly like the original from the animated trilogy. He now also has large, deep green eyes that communicate his intelligence and still possesses very few sharp edges, which make his overall design appear cute and inviting, especially when you factor in his goofy personality.